What up? Welcome back to another episode of Best Deck in Blank, where I build a commander deck for what I believe is probably the best commander in a set. Today we're covering Duskmourn. The set came out a while ago, but not really, not that long. Either way, let's quickly look over some of the legendary creatures and stuff in the set, talk about why I didn't pick them, and then we'll go to what I did pick. So Altenac, mono green, does weird stuff. I think Arabella and Kona are like maybe two of the better ones. You just do like a little guy go wide Boros strategy and then burn people for a lot. Kona obviously just cheats out really big guys as long as it's tapped. I think Marina's interesting. You could do like 5 color, just enchantment flicker and do some crazy stuff. Marvin is interesting, but I think he's more of a support piece. Nashi's a little weak. Same with Nico, not enough support for shards. Rip I think is interesting if you did like, again, like a tap this creature type deck. Jolly Balloon Man is obviously very good. Mind Skinner's mono blue mill. Toby's interesting, but a lot of them are more support pieces. Victor I think goes well in enchantment decks, but in 2 color these enchantments it's a little limited. I think Winter also a pretty strong contender for one of the better ones. By just like keeping players' hand size to 0. But yeah, let's get into the deck that I thought was best, and that is Jelly Balloon Man. Yeah, I'm calling this token spam in ETBs because that's what it is. A lot of the cards in the deck are just here to support Jelly Balloon Man, double his effect, double the effects of when things are entering, stuff like that. So yeah, Jelly Balloon Man, 3 mana 1/4 with haste. You can pay 1, tap him to make a token that's copying another target creature, except it's a 1/1 red balloon in addition to its other types and colors, and it has flying, haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step, activate only as a sorcery. So it kind of makes temporary copies of creatures until the end of turn. Going through the artifacts, obviously we got ramp. We're in Boros, so unfortunately we don't get access to that beautiful, beautiful green ramp that all the green decks use, but yeah, we still got pretty good artifacts. Ashnod's obviously very good. We can just sacrifice our balloons after they've had their use for 2 colorless. Boros Signet, more ramp. Felwar Stone, more ramp. Idol of Oblivion, we'll draw us a card when we make a token. All our balloons are tokens, so this will most likely draw us a card every turn. Illusionist Bracers is in here to double our activate abilities of whatever it's equipped to, notably Jolly Balloon Man. Magerite Stone is 1 tap to untap a creature with a tap ability. Mind Stone is more ramp. Panharmonicon will double our ETB, and when a creature ETB triggers, so other cards that are useful. Patriarch Seal is a mana rock that can also untap a legendary creature. Skull Clamp is in here. We can attach it to a balloon after it's had its use. It'll die because it's a 1/1, draw 2 cards, pretty good. Soul Ring is obviously Soul Ring. Sundial of the Infinite is pretty neat. You can pay 1 tap end the turn, activate only during your turn. This will essentially bypass the sacrifice triggers for the balloons at the end of the turn, and they'll just stay on the battlefield, which is pretty neat. And then Talisman of Conviction, because, yeah, more ramp. On the creatures, we got a Gate Instigator. I mean, I said it's tokens and ETBs. This card obviously works very well in that. Whenever another creature you control enters, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. It's a little burn effect that can get big over time. That can do a lot over time. Agris Cost, Eternal Soldier. This card's pretty sick. When it enters, or when it becomes a target of an ability that targets only it, you may pay 1 and a Boros hybrid. If you do, copy that ability for each other creature you control that ability could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. So essentially we pay 1 to make a copy of Agris Cost. We can then pay 1 in a Boros to just put it on all our creatures, which is obviously super explosive in a deck. Owl the Dawn Sky. Flying Vigilance, when it dies, choose 1. You can look at the top 7, put any number of non-land permanents with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, or you can put 2/1/1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or vehicle. The idea with this card is you make a token copy of it, it legend rules itself, and then you just get the look at top 7 or put 2/1/1s, whichever is better in this scenario. I find early game the first effect is much better, whereas late game if you have a lot of guys on board, just putting 2/1/1s on everything can be really big. Atsushi, kind of in here for the same reason. When it dies, You can essentially impulse draw 2, exile top 2 until the end of the turn you can play them, or you can make 3 treasures, so it really does whatever. Delny's in here. We're playing a lot of small creatures, and obviously all our balloons that have triggers are small creatures that will trigger Delny, so they'll just double all the triggers. Elishnorn is in here to also double ETB or triggered abilities when permanents enter, and then the little sax effect is nice for our opponents, not that big though. Enduring Innocence is in here just as reliable card draw. Whenever one or more creatures with power 2 or less enter, draw a card. Obviously these are balloons. Unfortunately, when it dies, if it was a creature, return it as a enchantment doesn't count, because when the creature token goes to the grave, it no longer exists, so you don't get the enchantment version. Unfortunately, if not, this card would be even crazier. Eartha Joe, Frontier Mentor. When it enters, you make a 1/1 mercenary, which is alright, and then whenever you activate an ability that targets a creature or player, copy that ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. This can just, copy your Jolly Balloon Man triggers onto another creature. Esper Sentinel, obviously just good in Boros deck. It's in here for kind of card advantage. People usually won't pay the one early in the game if you play it. You can also pump it up with like Owl of the Dawn Sky. So yeah, it's not that bad of a card. Exalted Sunborn, this is a interesting tutor. If one or more, not a tutor, I'm thinking of another card from this set. This is a token doubler. It has Warp for 2, and then if one or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many tokens are created instead. So yeah, token doubling in a deck where you're making tokens every turn, obviously really good. Goldmere is just a little mana artifact that can also be Jolly Balloon Man to essentially make a token that replaces the mana ability cost of Jolly Balloon Man, if that makes sense. So yeah, God of Souls, obviously it's like, this card is crazy, so you play in Modern. Whenever another creature enters, you gain life and get an energy, and then when you attack, you may pay 3 energy to put 2 on 1 counters and a flying counter on target attacking creature. It becomes an angel, kind of whatever. But yeah, pumping a card up, giving it flying is nice. It's also just a Soul Sister effect. Imperial Recruiter's in here. It tutors cards with power 2 or less. Obviously, we can also just keep making tokens of it to tutor out other cards we need. So yeah, this card obviously very good. Inspiring Overseer, 3 mana 2/1, a little expensive, but when it enters, gain a life, draw a card. I'd maybe rather just play more of the 2 mana 1/1s, let's say when it enters, draw a card instead. But the life gain can be useful in this. Iron Mirror, we've already talked about the red version. This is just the red, or the white version, this is the red version. Q roll, Attentive First Year. Tap to untap creatures you control to copy target triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, activate only once each turn. So yeah, this can help just double our like ETB triggers on a balloon that comes in by tapping the balloon in itself or something else. Lorn of the Third Path, 3 mana 2/1. When it enters, you can destroy a artifact or enchantment, and you can also tap her for you and each opponent and target opponent to draw a card. It's kind of in here as just good, I guess, non-creature removal, hitting artifacts and enchantments. Marvin, this will double our activated abilities, which is nice. Or not double, but you can copy them. Molten Gatekeeper, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So yeah, this is one of those cards. We're similar to an Instigator, and obviously being 2/3, we can tutor it. Mondrak is just another token doubler. Its second effect, who cares? You can sacrifice 2 artifacts and creatures to put an indestructible counter on them, which is cool. But like, it's a token doubler. Nesting Dovehawk. This card is wild. At the beginning of combat on your turn, populate. Populating is making a token that is a copy of a creature token. And then whenever a creature token enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on Nesting Dovehawk. This card goes like insanely crazy if you have something like a Mondrak or just any token doubler on board, because then you're making 2 and yeah, all your things are going wild. This card is probably one of the strongest cards in the deck. Odger Attack, this is a token tripler. It also, when it dies, it comes back as a land, and then if you attack with 3 or more creatures, you can flip it back into Odger Attack, so that's cool. Ornithopter of Paradise, Mana Dork, similar to our mirrors. Recruiter of the Guard, similar to Imperial Recruiter, except it hits toughness 2 or less instead of power 2 or less. Spirited Companion is one of those 2 mana 1/1s. When it enters, draw a card. Sun Titan in here just to bring back small mana value creatures. It can also bring back lands, which is neat, so it can help ramp you. Obviously, making token copies of this is also pretty good. You can play it one turn, Jelly Balloon mana, have a second ETB trigger, have the Hasted Balloon attack to have a third trigger. Pretty good. Village Bell Ringer, this is one of the combo cards in the deck. 3 mana, 1/4. You can flash it in, and then when it enters the battlefield, untap all creatures you control. If you just make copies of Village Bell Ringer and have a mana dork, or have multiple mana dorks, you can just make infinite mana, which is obviously very good. If you have a way to double Jolly Balloon Man triggers, you can infinitely make Village Bell Ringers and something else, and then just go from there. Weft Stalker Ardent, this is another, whenever another creature artifact enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, yeah, this is just one of the win cons in the deck. Witch Enchanter, card's very good. When it enters, destroy target artifact or enchantment. It can also just become a land, which is why it goes into so many decks. Because, yeah, all the MDFCs that have good effects on the front is really, really good. Thank you, Modern Horizons. Or maybe not. Zealous Conscripts, 5 mana, 3/3, haste. When it enters, gain control of target permanent until end of turn. Untap that permanent, it gains haste until end of turn. If we have this and a way to constantly untap Jolly Balloon Man and make mana to pay for the constant Jolly Balloon Mans, we can just steal everybody's things, which is obviously really strong. If not, it's still just a really neat trick. Onto the enchantments, we got Anointed Procession. Card's really good, just a token doubler. Determined Iteration, at the beginning of combat, populate the token created this way, gains haste, sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Interesting way to double up our balloons. Smothering Tithe is in here to make more mana. Obviously in Boros, we need all the mana we can get. And then Trouble in Pairs is just a very solid card. I'm surprised this card isn't a game changer, if I'm being honest. You'd think it would be. But yeah, if an opponent would take an extra turn, they don't. And then whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draw their second card each turn, or cast their second spell each turn, you draw a card. So it's just card advantage and a little stacks piece attached to it. Boros Charm on instance. This card's just good. It can deal 4 damage to play Planeswalker, give permanents you control indestructible, or give a creature double strike. Chaos Orb's good removal. Clever Concealment is it can invoke to any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out, so it helps get around board wipes. Unfortunately, it can just leave you wide open, which is the downside of this card, but that's fine. Enlightened Tutors in here. It can tutor our good artifacts or enchantments. We've covered them. They're all pretty good. Might as well play this. Flawless Maneuver is essentially a free give creatures indestructible until end of turn. Generous Gift is premium removal, so is Path to Exile. Reprieve's in here as kind of a counterspell. Stroke of Midnight is good non-land removal. Swords is good creature removal. Teferi's Protection is obviously just like one of the best cards. It's a game changer for a reason. Until your next turn, your life total can't change. You gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out, and then you exile this. Yeah, obviously very, very good card. Untimely Malfunction. This is kind of a counterspell, not really. You can destroy target artifact, change target of target spell or ability with a single target, or 1 or 2 target creatures can't block this turn. It's mainly used for the second mode, change target of target spell or ability with a single target. Interestingly enough about this card, let's say you go to Jelly Balloon Man, make a copy of something, and somebody in response goes to remove it. You can untimely malfunction and then just move your Jelly Balloon Man trigger onto another creature. That would be kind of weird to do because you could just redirect the spell. But yeah, either way, it's an interesting card. Skipping lands for now because they're kind of whatever. We got Elspeth Stormslayer as a Planeswalker in this deck. It's just a token doubler, really. You can also put a 1/1 counter on each creature and give them flying, which is neat. But yeah, it's mainly a token doubler. On to the sorceries, really nothing that crazy. We got Austere Command, good board wipe because a lot of our creatures have mana value less than 3, or yeah, less than 4, so we can just usually pick the 4th one. Blasphemous Act is good removal. Savine's Reclamation, we can bring permanents back from our graveyard. And Vandal Blast, we can destroy target artifacts. We can just destroy all artifacts that we don't control. Quickly going over the land base, really nothing that crazy. We're playing on color fetch, just like our solid lands that will most likely come in untapped, and then a surveil land because might as well. Fabled Passage is even in here, kind of just because we're playing a lot of basics. Radiant Summit, we're playing a lot of basics, so yeah. Rugged Prairie, Sacred Foundry, obviously mandatory. Buy shocks now, they're really cheap. And the Edge of Journey ones look like they're starting to go up a little bit, which is unfortunate. But yeah, on the maybe board, we got Arabella. I tried this card, but I don't think you could reliably go wide enough where this would do crazy stuff. You could build your deck to do more go wide reliably, and then this card would probably be better. Karmic Guide is interesting. We can just keep bringing a creature back, but we don't really need that if we have Sun Titan. And Sun Titan lets us bring lands back too, which is nice for fetches. Welcoming Vampire. Unfortunately, like the drawn card when power 2 or less enters is nice, but I'd rather just play Enduring Curiosity, or whatever our Enduring card is. I remember card names, I swear. I do not know where the card is. Yeah, Enduring Innocence. There we go. But yeah, if it wasn't locked on once a turn, I'd probably just play both of them, but yeah. Witty Roastmaster, this is just another effect to deal 1 damage to each opponent whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control. I'm just playing the newer ones because this one has power 3 instead of 2, so it can't be fetched by Imperial Recruiter. It can be fetched by Recruiter of the Guard, which the other two I don't think can. So maybe you just play one of each instead. I don't know. But yeah, that's the deck. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back next week with something else. I'm not sure what. I'm just gonna. Okay, yeah, that's a lot cheaper. That's like $200 cheaper. Anyway, I'll be back with something else next week. I've been looking at Canadian Highlander decks. I'm pretty interested in it for probably the last like 4 or 5 months. So maybe cover something along the lines of that. Maybe I'll just do a Ninja Turtles set review. So if you have reference, let me know in the comments below. If not, goodbye.